Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on The Fabelmans from Amblin Entertainment and Steven Spielberg. It's basically his life story. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 9, available at Amazon.com. It's about a kid in rural America growing up in the 50s. Basically, it's Steven Spielberg. I mean, I didn't need to read the synopsis to know that. I just knew it instantly as I was seeing it. Oh, and it's by Spielberg, and it's super sappy. It's super sappy. It's cute if you like this stuff. Oh wow, look at the write up. Look at the write up on YouTube here. Directed by Steven Spielberg, The Fabelmans is written by Spielberg and Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Tony Kushner. Angels in America, Carolina, or Change, who has earned Oscar nominees for screenplays in Spielberg's Lincoln and Munich. Those are very different screenplays, but okay. The film is produced by three-time Oscar nominee Christy Masco-Keeger. West Side Story, The Post. Oh, come on. West Side Story, even going to mention that movie? And The Post wasn't exactly gangbusters in my view, but whatever. I mean, I guess they were nominated for producer. Were they nominated? You're telling me West Side Story was nominated for something? Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner. The film's executive producer, Carl Raj. Maestro co-producer, West Side Story. Again, not something I think you need to brag about. And Josh McLagan, Free Guy and Logan. Well, those did pretty good. Film stars Gabrielle LaBelle, Predator and American Gigolo series. Again, I don't know why you would mention those for this movie. As a 16-year-old inspiring filmmaker, Sammy Fabelman, 4-time Academy Award nominee, nominee Michelle Williams, Manchester by the Sea, My Week with Marilyn, as his artistic mother, Mitzi, Paul Dano, the Batman, There Will Be Blood. He's very good. I like him a lot. As a successful scientific father, Bert, Seth Rogen, Steve Jobs, and American Pickle. I mean, I think we know who Seth Rogen is. As Bernie Lowry, Bert's best friend and honorary uncle to the Fabelman children, an Academy Award-winning nominee, Judd Hirsch. I mean, come on. We all know Judd Hirsch from Taxi. Uncut Gems and Ordinary People. Taxi. As Mitzi's uncle, Boris. Doing a very heavy accent, I'll add. Ensemble cast includes Oscar nominee Jeannie Berlin, Heartbreak Kid, inherent voice as Sammy. Man, they're throwing out the awards, aren't they? Sammy's paternal grandmother, Hassada Fabelman. Julia Butters, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 13 Hours, as Sammy's sister Reggie. Robin Bartlett, Moonstruck, Lean on Me, as Sammy's maternal grandmother. And Tina Skaldtrout and Keely Cartston, Hunter's Evil Lives Here, as Sammy's sister Natalie. Phew. The music is by 5-time Academy Award winner John Williams, Schindler's List, Jaws, Star Wars. The costume designer is 2-time Oscar winner Mark Bridges. I don't know if we need to see that. The artist, The Phantom Thread. In a movie like this, you're going to mention the costume guy? I mean, you know, I guess it's quality, sure, but... And the production designer's 2-time Oscar winner Rick Carter, Lincoln Aviator, or Avatar. The Fabelman is edited by 3-time Academy Award winner Michael Kahn, Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List, and Sarah Beauchard. West Side Story, again, The Post. The film's director of photography is the 2-time Academy Award winner Janusz Kaminski, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. Whew. So enough awards for you? Look, it's jam-packed full of talented people. No doubt. No doubt. So it's about a kid growing up in the 50s, and he's Jewish, because they make that clear in the trailer, because he's upset that all the other houses in the neighborhood has Christmas lights and his doesn't. Which is a cute, subtle way of acknowledging that, right? And here they're in the Boy Scouts. I mean, and he wants to be a filmmaker, and his father, who's a scientist, doesn't understand. And look, I can totally relate to this character and this thing, but and there's Judd Hirsch doing a hardcore accent. Uncle Boris. Um, yeah, so it's gonna be, and then the mother buys a monkey at some point, which is kind of funny. It's basically Spielberg's life, or kind of, not really. And then he's experiencing some guy making fun of him because he's Jewish or doing something racist. And he grows up and he becomes a filmmaker, and it's all he wanted to do, and his parents never understood. Like, I can totally relate to it, but it's so nostalgic, so sappy. I mean, written by Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner, directed by Steven Spielberg. Look, I don't hate Spielberg or anything like that. I like a lot of his movies. November 11th, theaters everywhere, Thanksgiving. And I would say, look, this is a good movie for the holidays. It's a family film. Good on them for making it, I guess, but it feels so overwrought with emotion, you know? As opposed to just making a movie about a kid who grew up in this era and, wanted to make movies. And it's a message we've heard a million times, you know? And it kind of doesn't resonate in this era now. You know, it's not as universal as you think. And here's why. When I was a kid, I was still in that area in South Jersey anyway, before, like, being part of media was a thing, a normal thing. You were still a talented weirdo if you wanted to be in movies or write books or, do any of these sort of media related things. It was the very tail end of that. By the 80s, it had changed. It had started to change. That became everybody's dream. By the 80s, by the time I got out of college, everybody wanted to be in movies. Everybody wanted to do this stuff. And even when I was in college, you could see it. You could see the change. Back when this movie takes place, yeah, you were a weirdo if you wanted to be in movies. Because back then, people wanted to do real things. Scientists, engineers. That was a time period in the United States where that's what everybody did. They did real jobs. And now everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants to be on YouTube. Everybody wants to write a movie, write a book, and not work jobs that are even half as hard as the kind of stuff they did back in the 50s in terms of being a scientist or being an engineer or, like, really doing work, STEM field kind of work. So it was unusual to want to be a filmmaker. When I was a kid, it was kind of still unusual to want to be in film. It was becoming in vogue, but it was still at the tail end of this period. But when he wanted to be a filmmaker, yeah, nobody wanted to do that. Very few people did. It was considered, something like, oh, you're going to be in film? What's that? And even when I was growing up, it was like, you couldn't even explain show business to people. They were so clueless. Now everybody's an expert in everything. Everybody does a film. Everybody, because they're constantly doing them on their phones and stuff. Everybody wants to be. Nobody wants to do the stuff that his dad wants to do. So, like, yeah, does this resonate with the kids who could watch this movie? Kinda, in that they are the sons and daughters of people in media who want to be in media too, want to be on Easy Street doing some TikTok thing that makes them a gazillion dollars, or OnlyFans, God forbid, or whatever. And I'm not sort of comparing that to what Spielberg did at all, but because back then, again, it was different. But it's just, the paradigm has changed. Everybody's in media. Everybody has a YouTube show. I worked for years trying to develop the skills to write scripts, to understand how shots are laid out and all that stuff. And and now everybody's doing it. It kind of devalues the gig. And I have friends who did this stuff and they just gave it up because They couldn't make a living at it, essentially, and they just got sick of being broke. And they went on and they did other things, and maybe that's for the best. Maybe they never should have been in it in the first place. Some of them are very talented, but you can also be talented and work a regular gig. And in fact, when you look at the very early days of Hollywood, yeah, like being an actor in movies wasn't really considered a thing, right? And maybe it was a healthier time, because then you would have people in movies who are like, they're real people, and yeah, they also do movies too. And it wouldn't be so out of touch. Is this movie out of touch? No, I'm not accusing him of that. I think Spielberg's movies are really great, a lot of them. I love E.T. I mean, I know maybe that's corny to say, but E.T.'s a good movie. I liked it when I saw it. I don't like the re-edit with the guns taken out of it. I think that's stupid, but you know, I don't like his later movies because they're so wrought with sentimentality for things that I just go, what? Too much. Even some of his stuff in the 80s were like that, and I was just like, eh. So, and it's not like even this movie or one of those movies wasn't crafted. He knows how to craft a movie. As much as I think West Side Story, Woke Side Story was a huge, huge, huge mistake. That I think was tone deaf to try to remake that. But there's no denying his craft. There's no denying the look and the shots and the talent. I mean, just look at that list of talent I just read, right? But who is this for? Guys who are, I mean, Spielberg, and even that I kind of respect. Like, he's making a movie for him that's really about him, that he loves. I mean, I do stuff that I love too, but this feels like real navel gazing, Maybe this will be good because this is a time when Spielberg could connect to the common man, but he's connecting to a common man that's basically, they're all dead at this point. They're all dead or they're 95, can't even get to the movies. So, is it going to be good? There's no denying the guy's craft. There's no denying the talent here. Although, God forbid, he let Seth Rogen do his laugh in this movie. I think that would totally take me out of it. If Seth is doing hardcore actor thing, sure. He could play this role of the friend of the guy who's like an uncle. I like the family aspect of it, but it's just like, this movie, if it had come out, I don't know, in the 80s or 90s, might have connected a much better, I'd say. There'd be more people around going, yeah, that was me growing up, kinda, or my older relatives or whatever. I can relate to this. But it's like, I can relate to it, but I kind of already seen this movie. The artistic kid who struggles through it while everybody around him goes, no, get a real job. That's been done. You know what hasn't been done? Everybody's a freaking artist and nobody wants to do the work. And some kid comes up and goes, no, I'm not going to do art. I'm going to fix the infrastructure around here. That's the movie I want to see now. That's the movie that's needed. Like, imagine that movie, right? Imagine it's completely the opposite. A kid who grows up and his parents are ridiculous. They're all like YouTubers, TikTokers. They all do things that don't make enough money. Somehow they struggle to survive or whatever. And like, their house is falling apart. Their lives are falling apart. But their kid, he don't want to do any of that. He learns engineering. He reads old popular mechanics. He learns how to fix stuff. He becomes a handyman, an engineer. He's fixing everything in the house. Like his dad can't fix it, but he can, and his dad's like, you got to get in touch with your feelings, man. You know, they're like the beatnik couple from The Simpsons who raised Ned Flanders, and they're just useless in some respects because there's just too many of these media people, and you know, there's just this one kid and he wants to be in the STEM field, and he's really good at it, but everybody tries to stop him. And then you could throw in the whole woke stuff, like it's a diversity thing, and he doesn't want anything to do with that. He's a scientist. That to me would be a movie that would really resonate now, and it would be funny as hell. Maybe I'll write that screenplay. But you know, this, we've kind of seen it before. Now this is going to be the super high-end version of this, done as a period piece, and it's gorgeous. I mean, just looking at the stills from it, you can see how gorgeous it is. It's layered. It would have been Oscar worthy in like the 80s when Spielberg was at his peak, the 70s and 80s. Now it just feels, I don't know, kind of bloated, kind of like, my God, how much money did you spend on this movie to make, you know, a movie about a kid who wanted to be an artist at a time when, you know, maybe artists weren't, I mean, I grew up that way. You know, I was the artist. I was the arty one, and everybody around me was like, "Oh man, you got to get your life in order." And I still haven't. But you know, I'm still the arty one. And it's a rough road. But when I can relate to the movie, and I'm looking at it through a creative lens, and I'm still going, I don't know why you needed to make this, or it's like too late. It's too late to make it. You know, maybe we cycle through another 50 to 70 years and we're back at the point where there's too many scientists, too many engineers, too many stiffs, not enough people doing fun stuff with artwork that can inspire people. Then maybe this movie, people will look back at this movie and go, wow, that's really interesting. Because they'll look at Paul Dano and says, oh, that's me. Instead of looking at the kid going, oh, that's me, and everybody in the theater going, yeah, that's me too. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's something off here. And it's not really with his movie. I'm not saying his movie's off. I'm saying, like, society's kind of off. And this is not the movie we need right now, you know? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just Spielberg always wanted to make this movie, and it feels a tad indulgent, you know? And as an artist, like, I understand that indulgence and I understand that temptation to do, but again, I don't think it's going to be bad. With this much talent, I don't think it'll be awful. But I just know, I don't know if it's necessary. You know? It's like a monument to a time and a paradigm that we kind of already figured out, and now we're on to something else. Now this isn't the problem. It isn't the problem that we don't have enough art people who are connected to their feelings. We've got too many of those idiots running around, and I'm saying that, and I'm the arty one. At least I was until everybody jumped into my thing. Some days I feel like Bart Simpson in that episode where everybody becomes Bart Simpson. Anyhow, breaking this down into 3 acts. Well, I think it mirrors his life. So it's like the first act, he's a little kid and he does cutesy films and he's encouraged by his mom because she's arty and his father isn't. And he's also feeling kind of like an outcast because I guess he's the only Jewish kid in town. They go to the movies and they see The Shadow, and there's an old-time movie theater, everybody. Here's an old-time movie. And he loves it. Then he tells his friends he's going to make a movie while he's a kid. And, you know, just like everybody else, you grow up and your dad, maybe your parents, you rebel against your parents, and this is his way of rebelling. He's telling him to get a real job. He's determined to become a filmmaker. He keeps telling him it's a hobby. And eventually he grows up and gets a gig as a filmmaker. And then here is Seth Rogen in an important scene where he tells him, your mother would never want you to give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your dreams. And he doesn't. And he becomes a filmmaker. And his father finally goes, oh, okay, I get it now. And they have trials and tribulations. You know? And someday his father goes, oh, I get it now. So that's what I predict the movie will be. And will it be good? I'm sure it'll be a tear-jerking experience, but I kind of don't want to pay $15 to see it. You know, I think it'll just be long and drawn out, and I'm kind of knowing where it's going. And I mean, I'm not old enough to even recognize all the awesome, I'm sure awesome references that will be in this movie in terms of the product and the backgrounds and the cars and all that research. Like, it'll be lost on me, and I'm 56. Like, it won't be lost on Spielberg. He'll know. He'll remember all this stuff. Guys his age, in his 70s. My parents could watch this movie and maybe sort of connect with it. But is that enough people to see this movie? 70-year-olds? It was the same thing I had with problem with West Side Story. Who the hell wanted to see a musical? So I hate to come down on it. I feel like I'm bashing the guy for, you know, but I'm really not. I'm so frustrated. Movies are not awesome anymore. And Spielberg is awesome, and I think he could make a great movie again. But I don't know if this is it. I don't think this is it. I think people will say it's awesome and tout him and drown him with awards. But those awards have ceased to be useful in film now, too. Will it make money? Yeah, probably. Probably do okay. I don't know, West Side Story didn't make money, so maybe not. And this looks like a huge budget. Did he do West Side Story so he could do this? I don't know. Movies are dreams that you never forget. The movie theaters are going out of business, dude. They're going out of business. The studios are killing them. They raised their price on Batman. The Batman was an extra $1. And I waited a couple of weeks and I saw it for nothing. Movies are dreams. Yeah, dreams that people pirate online now. Dreams that are streamed. Dreams are streamed. The magic of the movie theater, yeah, that was a thing. But now it's changed. And, this is a perfect movie. A perfect movie for the studio to go, this movie is going to be priced like it was released in, 1960. It's $2 or $1 movie or whatever. Just to get an insane amount of people to go see it. Oh, the movie's $5. That would be the equivalent. I mean, they have to charge something to keep the lights on. So let's say $5. This would be a perfect movie to lower the prices. To get people back into the theater going experience. This is about movies. This is about theaters. Why not cut your prices? With all the money you spent on this movie, why not subsidize the cost for the consumer so they go see it? Am I nuts? I don't know. I'm just frustrated with Hollywood, as always. And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. Today is not a Hollywood hot take. We did a live stream today. I'm done talking about Hollywood. And so I did a Piney podcast and a news blast. So make sure you're on Bitchute, Rumble, and Odysee. On my other channels. The links are in the description. You just make an account. They're free. and you can watch my stuff there too. I enjoy the other. You got to get in the alternative media because YouTube. There's only so much I can say here. They don't like my spicy takes, and Joan is very based on the other channel. Very based. We'll see you tomorrow.